All right, welcome back, everybody. Kirsten is not going to be able to join us. She's a bit of a mess right now. Jordan, you can edit that part out when we post up this segment. All right. She's okay, though. That's what's important, is she's okay. It's just, anyways. So I've never had a bleeding nose in my entire life, ever. So I don't know what you're going through, but it looks bad. So, in the most comical way, obviously, because we're all laughing. So anyways, okay, here's what we want to talk about. Open houses. I have 3 marketing musts that I tell every realtor to focus on. One is the sphere of influence. You need to have a database. Before you do anything in real estate, you need to make sure you have a database to start adding value to your clients. Number 2, you need to have referral systems. You need to be designing ways to get your clients to refer you. And number 3, open houses. You absolutely, unequivocally need to be doing open houses. There is so many reasons you need to do this in terms of learning to talk to people. Obviously, selling your client's house is the first and foremost benefit there. But the people you'll meet, free advertising, there's so many different things that happen. Now, the markets fluctuate. We get that. We know a lot of you were sitting open houses in December and November and October, and things were slow. We know that. Anytime you have not as many sales as typically happens, things slow down. But that just means that it's the serious buyers that are out there, and when you do get people in, you know, it's a great opportunity regardless of what you're doing. So we're going to talk a little bit about what is happening in terms of open houses, why people don't, and what you can do to change it. I just want to give you guys, or change your mentality on it. I want to give you guys a little stat here. In 2010, this is from the National Association of Realtors profile of buyers and sellers, 45% of people used open houses in their research process. So interested buyers, 45%, almost half of people went out and looked at homes. Now, the thing that changes between 2010 and now is mobile devices, technology. We have access to even more digital information. So you would expect that obviously this number would change in terms of open houses. Well, it did change. So in 2017, it actually went up. 52% of people used open houses as a research source. That's up 7% from 2010. So people always say, oh yeah, people don't go to open houses anymore. It cannot be further from the truth. People still want to get into houses. You're going to live in a community, drive the community. You have to live, you have to feel what it's like to be in the home, and that's never going to change. That's why clients go out and look at homes. Not very often you get a client that buys a home sight unseen. You get it with investors sometimes, but that's it. The other thing that they say in this article we were reading, it says research says, they didn't have a source for this, which I'm always, you know, sketchy on, but research says buyers attending an open house are within 30 days of writing an offer. So we have a more qualified person who is coming in to attend the open house. Often people say, oh, I'm already working with an agent, which is a good way to sort of put up the wall. So once you get to the open house and you meet people there, you really got to hone what you're saying to get people to let their guard down a little bit and start to begin to trust you. But if you're just high pressure, high sales, you're going to have a wall there. So let's get into the reasons why agents don't do open houses. So there's lots of data to support exactly why you should be doing it. It's absolutely a must for new realtors, but let's talk about this. So the number 1 myth, no one comes in. That might not be a myth. You might be facing that. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you had 8 uninterrupted hours or 4 uninterrupted hours, however long your open houses are, on the weekend, so maybe 4 hours Saturday, 4 hours Sunday, or 3 and 3, or 2 and 2, whatever it is, bring work. How often do you get a chance to work uninterrupted on writing an article, organize your database, catching up on your thank you notes, whatever you're doing in there, adding content to your website? Bring work and utilize that time. It's so, so powerful. Also, ensure that you promoted the open house in advance. You should be promoting the open house by Wednesday to make sure that people that are looking at it, if they see, hey, I want to look at that house, instead of trying to book it with an agent, if they see that it's listed in the comments as being open on Saturday or Sunday, they'll adjust their schedule to go ahead and pop by and have a look at that house. So obviously we get market fluctuations, which can bring out, or it can take away some of the looky-loos just because it's busy and everything else. You're not going to get as much traffic for sure, but I'm going to tell you people are still attending these homes. There's still sales happening. And if over half of them are using open houses as a source, then you can do the math. That bodes very, very well. All right, so the first myth, no one comes in. Myth number 2 is the agent carries too many listings. This happens. It is impossible for you to be in 2 places at once. So any agent that has more than 3 or 4 listings is probably telling their client, listen, I don't sit open houses. They're a waste of time, which they're not a waste of time. I actually sold 1 in 5, 20% of my listings to a buyer that I introduced to the home through an open house. So that's really, really good stats. We had a huge amount of success working open houses. But in terms of if you do have too many listings, obviously you can't be in 2 places at once. Physical impossibility. However, you can get other agents to sit your open houses. There's tons of agents out there that want to sit open houses. If you're not using it right now, use the open house distribution list. Get your listings posted up on there. The other thing you might want to do is hold an open house Thursday evening or Friday evening or any other evening. Show homes are open in different hours, so maybe you want to hold the open houses at different times as well. Experiment and see what works. There's also a myth that says there's too much inventory in the area. There's too much other competition. Well, if there's other competition, how else are you going to set yourself apart, especially if there's a feature inside the home? Get people walking, or feature inside the home that differentiates it. Get people walking into the house to see it. Even more important is it to get people through the door. Plus, if there's lots of listings in the area, then you have this unique opportunity where buyers who are coming in to drive-by homes, lots of listings just means more traffic overall. When they see your open house signs, they're there anyways, they're more likely to stop by. If yours is the only listing in the community, sometimes you don't get as much traffic through there. So having lots of listings can work as well. Poor weather conditions. You know what? Poor weather conditions filters out the looky-loos from the people that are serious, and potential buyers and potential sellers need to buy and sell. There's no question if it's absolutely blizzarding and people can't drive, you might not want to hold an open house. But if you're just talking about rain or light snow, get out there and hold it. Plus, you might be the only person that is doing it, which sets you apart immediately. Holidays and special events. Some people really don't want to do it during holidays. Does anyone hold an open house on May long weekend or whatever else it is? And the answer is that people are off work. They actually have an opportunity to drive around. People are out and about all the time. You're not going to hold it on Christmas Day, but if you're talking about things like Family Day or other stuff as well, sometimes people are out there driving around doing it. Obviously, spend some time with your family. There's no question. But don't be afraid to hold it on the Sunday or the Monday. Get your family time in. But people are out there looking around doing different things. I'm not a proponent of working directly on Family Day. I just want to let you guys know, but make sure you get your family time in, and then also commit to getting out there when people are out and about. It's always like banks being closed on Sunday, and I understand that people need to take holidays, but this is the time that you're actually available to do your different activities, so it should almost be the opposite hours. Anyways, the agent is concerned about the personal safety. This is a real live issue. If you have a listing that's in a questionable or in an area that doesn't make you feel safe, there isn't good lighting or something like that, make sure that you are, either A, you do not sit the open house, so be conscious of that, or you sit it with somebody else. Invite a TD mortgage broker in with you, or a mortgage specialist to come in with you, or somebody else to co-op with you on the open house. And that way you have the buddy system as well, and there's lots of mortgage professionals that would love to work an open house with you. You get exposure, and even if they don't get the business from it, they can still work with you to get your relationship or build your relationship and obviously get your business in the future. The other thing, I don't know if you guys have been watching this thread that's been going around Facebook of all the crappy fake news that's out there. This one is real. On your phone, if you hit the lock button, this is on iPhone, I'm sure there's a feature on Android as well, but if you hit the lock button 5 times rapidly, it takes you into SOS mode. So make sure you have your phone nearby. Don't follow the people through the houses. If you ever feel unsafe, just wait in the position where you're by an exit. But you can always have your phone with you, and if you hit it 5 times, it makes a loud, you can set up to make a loud siren noise and immediately calls authorities and your emergency contacts. So it's a great system. All you do on iPhone is hit it 5 times rapidly. I'm not going to do it right now because it does make a very, very loud sound. And you can set that up on your phone. So great little safety consideration there. What if your property doesn't show well? What if it's messy, unkept? Do you want to hold an open house? Well, the answer to that is do you want to have the listing? Should you be listing a property that is messy and unkept? I think you have a bigger problem to worry about if the property doesn't show well. You need to work with your sellers in order to get it done, because even an agent bringing a potential buyer through is going to have a hard time making a difference on that. So make sure you guys get out there and work with that. The other one is maybe the property is too hard to sign, i.e. it's tucked away on a cul-de-sac. There's like 15 turns to get in the side. Well, think about this. How many buyers that you know of have put on their buying criteria list to have, I need a home on a busy road that's got lots of traffic in front of it? Most times that's not top of the list for buyers. They want something that's tucked away, being in a little bit more quiet of an area. That's something that's sought after. So the thing that you need to consider here is, number one, make sure you get it into the listing comments, because people see these listings on Realtor.ca and then they come over to visit the open house. But the other thing is buy more signs. I know that some people will say to you, you need about 4 signs for doing open houses. Ideally, when we had our real estate team, I wanted people to have 8 signs. 8 signs at least. I've seen some realtors that have 12 signs that they put out, because I want every single artery to be directing to my open house all the time. Plus, I'm going to talk about this in a bit, but this is the best free advertising you can get. The bylaws are in your favor to have these temporary signs out there to direct people to an open house. And your name is constantly in front of people's faces. Do the research on how much it costs for a billboard or how much it costs for a bus bench, and you're going to find that open house signs, doing it consistently in a neighborhood, brings you incredible name recognition. I see a lot of open house signs out there that don't have the names on them. What are you doing? You can buy decals, you can buy stickers. We advise you on where to put it. Get out there, get some name exposure on the listing. Even if it's not your listing, get your signs out there. Sit open houses in consistent areas, and you're going to find you're going to get a lot of name recognition as you start launching your other campaigns. Maybe it's a condominium or something and it's hard to work with. Get some advice, talk to other realtors to figure out how they're doing it. We usually put a sign, talk to the seller, buzz this number, or you can also do the buddy system where you have somebody waiting downstairs to let people in. But lots of people do like secure buildings, so consider that it is actually a selling feature for some people. What if the property is overpriced? Well, 2 considerations here. Number one, if someone is looking on Realtor.ca, they may not have all of the research they need to determine that it is overpriced. In addition to that, if someone is driving around a community and they see your breadcrumb trail of signs and they start following that, they don't know what's on the other end of that. They don't have all the sold comparables on each sign, and then they get to the end and they say, here I am, and it's overpriced. Now, when they get into the house or when they're comparing on Realtor.ca, they might feel like the price is a bit high. The first thing you want to do is recognize that you have a listing that might have a huge problem selling overall. So we're back to the same issue of not having a home that sells well, that shows well. So if it doesn't show well, you need to talk to your client about getting it cleaned and prepped. For overpriced listings, you have to do the same thing and have a conversation with your seller. The other thing is that it's a good opportunity to gather feedback at your open house to educate the seller on what was said during it. Be honest, be truthful, and be transparent with them, because it'll help you get a listing that's more probable to sell. Obviously, and it helps them move on with their goals. Obviously, the agent is convinced that buyers can learn everything that they need by using the internet. Obviously, we see this in the statistics. People are more likely to use an open house in their search than they were before. And we're going to present on some information on this, but we have posted up the 2017 NAR profiles of buyers and sellers. The use of video, I just want to speak to this, the difference between videos and virtual tours in terms of what buyers found useful when they're looking at a property. This is a side note, but the use of video or the usefulness of video is way, way, way below virtual tours, which means 2 things. Number one, they're turning to virtual tours where they can control the experience to go through the home. Think Matterport, think some of these 360 virtual tours. Or number 2 is that the videos that people are putting out aren't as helpful as the client would want. So if you're using video to promote your homes, you might want to consider switching it back to virtual tours in terms of usefulness. And you can talk to your sellers about that. Plus, virtual tours are way less expensive than using videos. And anybody that's doing videos will convince you either way, or that, oh, YouTube, video is the way of the future. Look at Instagram, look at all these things. You can use them in places like that, but buyers aren't finding the information as useful. So you can still use it for promotional for yourself and a few other things, but buyers for homes are not finding it as useful. Just an FYI on that. And obviously, people still want to get inside and feed the property, and feel the property, not feed the property. The last thing, agent apathy. Agent apathy is probably the #1 reason why people aren't sitting in open houses. Oh, I got friends coming into town today, or I got something else today. You guys need to be spending 2 hours each day, 5 days a week, promoting your business, and open houses are a great way to get those hours in. I know a lot of people that could have built their entire real estate business from open houses, and even if you sat your open houses on the weekends and you pulled 1 deal a week from it, for a lot of realtors, that's a very, very good return on their investment. So if you're not doing a deal a month, I highly, highly consider using open houses as a staple to grab your business and explore with other lead generation ways, web, sphere of influence, things like that. But don't forget about the power of an open house. It's absolutely awesome. So we actually have this report here about more information on open houses. It's going to be an institute, which I'm going to show you guys in a moment. But you guys can go ahead and have a look on the Leading RE section under Institute to find it. So that is some myths on open houses. Get out there, get in there, or get out there, do some open houses. If it's slow right now, don't worry. We're expecting to pick up, but bring some work and do some great prep for the year, and also do some lead generation while you're there as well. So that's that. We will be back with a topic called Learning from the Best People About the World as we explore Institute, and we will chat with you guys in a bit.